What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to review Cobra Kai Season 5. This is the first time I've actually done a review or even talked about the show this close to when it had just released. I watched the full thing. My wife and I, we put in the time, and we spent around 5.5 hours on the Friday night watching the whole season. And so this will contain spoilers. I guess we can kind of just generally throw words out there that don't spoil anything, but this is going to move quickly into spoiler territory because the biggest things of the whole season, happen the tail end. There's some really big twists and turns, and obviously I need to get this out there and talk to some people about it. But I think this season is fantastic. It continues what I think is just a really amazing show, a show that very clearly honors where it came from in some of the best ways possible. I mean, this is really how you do it, right? Taking these characters that, and not even just taking them, but then respecting them, right? Even though you don't even have all of them, but they try to get whoever they actually can. So this season, I would say, continues that. It does an excellent job at pretty much everything it sets out to do. I would say it's got some of the more slower moments. There's definitely that, again, like cheesiness, corniness that's been throughout the series. It I guess stood out to me a little bit more in this season at times, but then other times I think it works flawlessly. So I've been saying this. I do think this season has maybe some of the weaker moments of the entire series, but then also easily, to counteract that, has some of the absolute best moments the series has ever had. And it has had several. A lot of them, obviously, like the season finales, tend to be incredible. And I didn't really know where they were going with this one season finale, but man, oh man, they killed it. But it keeps up that tradition, right? Where I think the best of this season easily cancels out whatever there is to say bad about it. So the buzzwords, good. It's a very good show. You should go see it. That out of the way, let's talk about some of the spoilers that happen in this season. So, I was wondering what they were going to do with Terry Silver, if they were going to keep him around as the villain. And while I don't think he's gone forever, obviously, taking him out of the picture, he's such a great character. I mean, he was great back with Karate Kid 3. He continues to be incredible, for Season 4 and now Season 5. He is the big bad. You fear him in a way, right? And I like how they did it, right? Like, he easily defeats Johnny in Season 4. Now it's kind of like a spring attack, right? A surprise attack. He doesn't see it coming. But in this season, he takes out Daniel pretty easily. And then the fight with Chosen, dear Jesus, right? That fight, that whole last episode was incredible. From just the cinematography, the choreographs, the choreographic fights that they did. I thought they did phenomenal, but specifically Silver versus Chosen, and then you just have Johnny getting just destroyed, inside the house, and then you have the fight at Cobra Kai. I mean, I really thought all of that stuff was very, very well done. And really, in my opinion, the Silver scenes throughout the season are the highlights, including obviously his big fights, and they happen somewhat often. I think he's a pretty darn good just martial artist. I know he's in real life, he's a martial artist, and you can tell based off the show. There is some things, being a martial artist, that I wish the show would kind of pay just a little bit more attention to. A lot of the times when they're attacking, their hands are just like by their side. It's very easy to hit these people, I guess, in the moment, but they don't really care all that much. But it doesn't really, in my opinion, take away from the fights. The fights are absolutely epic. Really, all of them. Even like the Miguel Robbie fight, which was towards the beginning, right, earlier in the season. I thought that was one of the better, again, choreographed and realistic fights that the series has ever had. I mean, it looked really, really crisp and clean, and they were going at it, and those are probably some of the more talented individuals, like actual people that they're training, right, behind the scenes, and they're having them do it in the show. Besides Hawk, it's really those three that are just really, really good martial artists, and you can absolutely tell in that fight. The battle to decide if they were going to do the world tournament, that was pretty sweet. Having Silver pay off the judge again, or the referee, right, was epic. But again, that very last episode of just basically all-out war, right? The masters fighting it out, the students fighting it out, and then ultimately, couple surprise twists, right? I love what they did with Kreese throughout the entire season. He comes in, right, pretty late, and it really is a more emotional kind of journey for him, where he's trying to play his way out of jail, and then he gets rejected, and then then everybody, calling him sensei and all that stuff, which was pretty funny. Or when he's talking to the therapist and he's having like the flash, they did that twice, right? They did that with Sam as well when she's in the float tank and then everybody's like in like the darkness, and Kreese did the same thing. I really liked the Kreese when you see like Silver, you see himself as a young man, you see Johnny, you see all this. I really think they did an excellent job with his journey throughout the season. And then, to be flat out honest with you, they got me. They got me fully that he died. I looked to my wife and I was like, that was how he's... And the way I said it was like, oh, is that it? Is that how they took him out? But really, it's like, Jesus. Like, I cannot believe they actually killed what you think of as a main character in the series, and they just murdered him. So when he drops, it's like, oh my... I can't believe they actually did it. And, of course, they don't. And I am happy about that. Like, I don't know how that would play out on repeat viewings, but it played out well for me in the moment. And I think that's something I really want to hold on to with this series, because like seeing these fights the first time is something very special. When Silver cuts Chosen and you're like, oh my dear God, did he just kill him? Right? Like that, I don't know how that would play out multiple times, because like, well, Chosen's not dead. Kreese doesn't die. So they do it twice in the same episode, I believe, right? Kreese dies in the beginning and Chosen dies towards the end. So, the fake outs, two big ones in the same episode, not exactly something that I think you can keep up, but sprinkling it in, the twist of having the one kid that was basically a mole, right? And he was working for Cobra Kai. That one really caught me off guard, because it's like, that's such a small little subtle thing, but it's like, you know what? I mean, they do always pick on him. Like, they literally pick on him all the time with his nickname. And so, yeah, it kind of makes sense that he would say, well, I'm going to stick with Cobra Kai then. So I like that. I like Tori's arc really throughout the whole season. I really did, because it's the whole, she does realize what's going on. She knows Silver did what he did. And even though she's in Cobra Kai, she's always trying to like diffuse situations. She doesn't want the one girl, right, the kind of her rival, she doesn't want her in there, because she doesn't want her basically like mind wiped by Cobra Kai. So I really liked that journey. And obviously with the end of the season, Miyagi-Do gets quite a few new students, right, because of what happens to Silver. And then, of course, that ending, pretty crazy. Not just Kreese escaping jail, which was kind of epic all on its own, and Chosen surviving, everybody being alive and well, but Silver being arrested, them being able to get that footage that, he admits that he paid the ref off in the season 4 finale, and then he goes to jail. So I mean, in terms of like season finales, I really don't know how much more, epic. They keep upping the stakes. When you think back to like the school fight, which I think was the season 2 finale. I mean, like how epic that was. They really do keep upping the stakes, and they gave everybody, again, like in terms of that respect, like they're respecting Silver. They did. They respected that character, and they respected how good of an actor he is by giving him a lot. Kreese, they kind of slowed him down quite a bit in this season, which makes sense, but they gave him a lot, and they gave him character, some emotion, which we have seen in the seasons before. Johnny, I think he was pretty underused the first half. This season really did take a long time to get going, and I feel like it took longer to get going than most of the other seasons, but character stuff with him with his child, right? That he's going to have a baby. I mean, that was pretty cool. He was, I think, vastly underused throughout the entire season, but he did have his epic moments towards the very end, right? Daniel, he really didn't fight all that much. He got beaten up by Silver, but then he ended up being the one to defeat him, right? Chosen was used quite a bit and used really well. I thought that was easily the best decision, really, of the entire season, was kind of elevating him to a series regular. I thought that was a fantastic choice, and I thought he absolutely nailed it, from comedy to emotion, from a talent level, right? In terms of like he was brought in as like, well, this would be the guy who would be able to take out or take at least on Terry Silver, and he was that guy who kind of lasted the longest, and really he beat him. He did end up beating him. He was just distracted by whatever the noise in the house, and then Silver struck. So that was kind of his role, and he played it really well. I mean, the show is extremely good. It is. I don't know how much longer you can keep going. Like, you could see Silver getting out of jail or him coming back, but now, like, Kreese comes back, and he's still kind of the bad guy, right? So, like, you can keep going, but at this point, I do think you're reaching the end. I don't know how many... I mean, I'll watch it as long as they want to do it. But in terms of kind of, like, naturally ending this, you know, there are really nice ways you can imagine it ending, with like Daniel taking over Miyagi-Do and being good, and then Johnny and even Kreese, if he comes over to the light, them being kind of like co-owners of Cobra Kai and everybody lives in harmony. That's really probably the series finale. That's how it should end, in my opinion. But when that happens, I don't know, right? Because you could still have Silver come back. You could introduce back Hilary Swank's character from 4. I mean, you could keep going. So we'll see, you know, how long they end up doing it. But phenomenal season. Some of the weaker moments of it for sure, and it took a while to get going. But then once it did get going, it was just as epic, if not much more so than ever before. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.